Hello everybody! So today is day one of Booktubeathon. I'm super duper excited. I will be starting with Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, which was the book that my coin chose for me. That's the first challenge. I've never read Peter Pan before, so I'm super excited. I am also currently on vacation, so hopefully I will be able to get some clips of some nice nature, and I will include that in my daily vlogs. I did this last year and I really enjoyed it. I will be going now. I hope you guys have a good start to your Booktubeathon. Bye now. Alright everybody, I am currently on page 85 of Peter Pan. This book is definitely interesting. It reminds me a bit of Alice in Wonderland, and there's something very nonsensical about it. However, I can see Freudian psychoanalysts eating this book up. Like, there is a serious Freudian undertone in the relationship between Wendy and the boys in this story, that the younger boys treat her as a mother figure, and Peter Pan treats her more like a lover, but also a mother figure. That is definitely very clear to me. We can definitely talk about the racism and the sexism in this book. That's obviously very apparent. What Native Americans are called is clearly very problematic, how they're described, everything. They don't really have much of a personality. But at the same time, these boys are clearly not innocent. They're entering into this make-believe world that resembles more of the real world than they have experienced in the past, and Peter Pan is not a great guy. I'm really fascinated how violent he is. I don't recall him being that violent, at least not in the Disney movie, which we all know that Disney takes some serious liberties when it comes to adaptations. There are murders, and Peter Pan is very selfish, and Tinkerbell is wanting some agency. She's feeling that Wendy is her rival, and I don't think it's necessarily about jealousy so much as I think it's about her wanting to have, like I said, agency, some kind of power in this man's society, and how the men just try to play with her like a toy, and they don't respect her, and she tries to gain their respect or by playing these tricks on them. I'm not sure how I will rate it, but I certainly will be finishing it today. And the illustrations are by Arthur Rackham. Let me show you one of them. Here's an illustration. So as you can see, there are these very intricate illustrations. And usually I'm not into very, very elaborate, detailed illustrations. I much prefer more minimalistic art, but Rackham's art is beautiful. And I think it goes perfectly with the dreamlike quality of this story. So let me know if your general thoughts about Peter Pan. No spoilers, of course, but it's actually kind of hard to not have spoilers, right? I mean, I think most people know the story, more or less. I'm just really interested in the coming-of-age aspect of the story and the sexual aspect of the story, which I didn't expect going into it. I mean, I knew it was a darker book, but I didn't think that this would be a commentary about like sexual awakening, at least partially. And I look forward to finishing it and hopefully starting another book. It's a nicer day today. It's less hot and humid than it was yesterday. All right, talk to you later. Well, hello again. I just finished Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, and although I enjoyed reading this book because the writing is beautiful and the characters are bizarre, I felt that the plot wasn't very straightforward. I was constantly confused about why certain events were happening, particularly in the second half of the novel. I thought at first that this book was supporting growing up, but by the end of it, it felt like the book was saying that being a child forever was a great thing, even though Peter Pan is not a very good character. So I really didn't know what the author was trying to do as far as the message goes, and then of course there's all this racism that really became quite off-putting, just the repetition of really inappropriate language for Native Americans, the sexism. This book hasn't aged well, I think, in many ways. But also the plot, like I said, was just really confusing. I did like Captain Hook, and it reminded me a lot of Captain Ahab in Moby Dick. And so I actually started Googling, you know, is there any kind of connection between Captain Ahab and Captain Hook? And there seemed to be a number of articles online making that connection, suggesting that Barrie was writing a sort of parody of Moby Dick. On that end, I thought it was really interesting. However, like I said, I just found the relationship between Peter and Wendy to be really confusing, and therefore I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I just generally don't like nonsensical fairy stories. Is the reason why I don't like Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So I guess if you do like that book, you might like Peter Pan. But I'm glad that I read it. This was a beautiful edition with the Arthur Rackham illustrations. And I would certainly like to read Peter Pan in Kensington Gardens, because that was actually the first Peter Pan book. So, day 1 of Booktubeathon was quite a success. I finished my first book, and I hope that I will be able to read some more tonight. But I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.